Hey guys, PhranqTheDanq here, and I'm back today, less tired than I have been. Um, and now that I'm not so deliriously tired, we're gonna check out this house and see if maybe I don't want it to look just like a box. So let's take a stroll around the outside, see what I'm thinking. Because honestly, that last video, I was so tired. I barely remember making it. I probably should have just gone to bed instead, but I didn't. In fact, I made the video. You know what I can't help but think? I need more space, which means I need more shovels. Maybe not. Nah, this is pretty spacious. Let's go sleep in bed. Talk about it in the morning. Definitely not feeling like getting into a fight with any mobs. So, fun little bit of info for you guys. I am not even home, like in real life right now. I am stuck away from home for a work thing. So when I'm not at work, I'm probably just going to do PhranqTheDanq videos. Because why not? So hopefully we get somewhere in the next little while. I'll be home before you know. Alright, so here's the thing. I don't like this. I don't like that it's perfect rectangle, but I do like having the entrance out here. I want it to be a more narrow entrance. So I'm going to do this. Alright. Let's see what I think of this. Yeah, I'll give it a shot. What's the worst that could happen? I absolutely hate it. Literally, that's the worst thing that could happen. I hope I don't hate it. But anyway, so I am in the town or city of Boise, Idaho, and I'm at a really nice hotel. But, funny story, I had to come here last year, and I didn't get a nice hotel. I got a really horrible, awful hotel. And I just thought I'd maybe share that tale with you guys. So I wound up stuck in this hotel called the Cabanna Inn. And it was, let's just say, atrocious. Atrocious is putting it nicely. So I get to this place and I go to check in, and like the lobby is stinky, but not like it's horrendous. It smelled like a senior citizen home or something. Kind of gross, but whatever. It's like, okay, yeah, fine. The people that own it, pretty darn old. Like, no disrespect to them, then not a big deal. Just let them be and not say a word about it. So I didn't, and I got checked into my room, and it was like not a hotel where you're inside a building to get to your room, but a hotel where you're outside in the parking lot and there are doors to get to the rooms from the parking lot. So like that's whatever, I could deal with it, but I know like from watching TV shows about failing hotels and stuff that's not like the best kind. It's a little bit less safe, a little usually cheaper, and mind you, it was very cheap. But regardless of that, I went in there trying to think positive thoughts, trying to think, you know what, it's gonna be fine. Everything will be just fine, right? Well, I get into my room, and let me backtrack. I was walking up to my room, which was on the street side, literally looking out into this shop where people were just cutting and grinding on cars all night. I think it may have been a chop shop, honestly. But regardless of that, that's neither here nor there. I walk up and I see in the window of the room I'm about to be staying in, there is a big wooden stick, which is used to keep the window shut. Instead of like a proper latch or anything like that, it's a big wooden stick. And, it's like, alright, well, you know what? I've seen that before. The locks break. They can be hard to get parts for. A lot of the times they stop making the same one after a while. And, let's be optimistic here. They probably just can't find the parts for the new lock. Well, I go into the room, and the first thing that I notice is the strong smell of urine just punching me in the face, basically. It was atrocious, absolutely disgusting. And, so that was bad enough, but I look around the room and I see the carpet is extremely stained. It's actually red for the most part, or at least it's red now. I don't know what color it might have been when it was put in, but it looked like it was probably from about the 1970s. On top of that, give me just a second, I gotta think. Oh, on top of that, I turn around to close the door behind me, and the door locks don't function. Like the secondary lock, which is like a privacy lock, was just broken off. It didn't exist. And the main lock was super flimsy. I could just push the door open. So it was really scary. I'm in a scary neighborhood I don't recognize, and not really having a good time at this point. But I'm like, I look around the room, and there's these ancient tables with granite tops, and not nice ones, really badly done ones, super gaudy stuff you'd see in a TV show about, I don't know, hoarders or something like that. But regardless of that, I was like, oh, this is perfect. I'll take all this furniture and I'll barricade the door shut, which is exactly what I did. I'll shamelessly say I barricaded myself in that hotel room because it was so sketchy. And I couldn't get the door open that way. It was perfect. It made sense. I was safe-ish. All right, so I get comfortable, with the fact that nobody's going to come barging into my room, and I go set my stuff down, and mind you, everything is just sticky and gross. And I made it a point to not put anything on the floor because there were stains all over the carpet that made the carpet look wet. Anywhere you would go, the carpet just looked like it had random wet spots all over it. So that was gross. I never did figure out what those were, but like I said, the whole room smelled like pee. And my shoes would stick to the carpet. I'd walk along and I'd hear that sticky sound. Like when you're in a movie theater where somebody spilled soda 3 showings ago and nobody's cleaned it up, and you walk by and it makes that sound like you're ripping off a piece of tape. Yeah, it's like that every step I would take. So that was disgusting. And I continued my way around the room to look at stuff. There was a 3 or 4 inch gap in the air conditioning, because they did have an AC unit that worked. It blew cold air. But there was this gap that would, it just led to the outside world. Anybody out on the street could walk by and stick their whole arm through this gap into my hotel room. And it was crazy because I'm literally street side, right? And at this point, the sun's starting to go down. And this shop across the street is starting to get really busy. Not customers, people just piling on all these cars, just tearing stuff off. And it's wow, are they really like running a chop shop right here? This is insane. But, I just went ahead and I watched because I wasn't about to get involved with anything like that. And pretty soon, it's getting to the point where it's like, okay, I should probably consider laying down, right? Well, I figured I'd go check out the bed. Discovered the bedspread was covered in cigarette burns, and stained and gross, and God only knows what kind of critters were living in it. So that was fun. But I was especially annoyed because the guy at the front desk like grilled me about whether or not I was a smoker, which I'm not. I think smoking is like gross. But the guy was grilling me about it. He asked several times and reiterated that it was a non-smoking room. So I found cigarette burns all over the bedspread and the carpet. I was pretty shocked. And then, to top it all off, I go and look for an outlet to plug my phone into. And it's like behind the nightstand, which is the only piece of furniture that I didn't add to the barricade to keep my room safe, So I slide out this heavy, stupid, old nightstand that, weighed probably like 150 pounds. And I find that there is a buttload of cigarettes and ash just hanging there waiting to be discovered. And on top of that, the outlet isn't even screwed into the wall. Like, it's just chilling there. So but it worked. So I got my phone plugged into that, and I put back the cigarette butts and the ashes and the lost city of Atlantis and everything else that I found down there. And like, this is an experience I know that I will never forget. So as I laid there in that bed, and by in that bed I mean on top of all of the covers, fully clothed with my shoes on, I stared up at the ceiling and I could see stains just all over the walls, which the walls were like paneling out of like a 1970s Winnebago, but it had been painted black, which was really a great aesthetic, So that was fun. And there were just these stains all over the ceiling. And I was like, man, those are probably from things I don't even want to begin to imagine. It was just disgusting, right? And like, I barely slept that first night because it was so sketchy. Like, all night long, I heard sirens. I heard people screaming. The what I'm quite certain was a chop shop across the street never stopped working until well after sunrise. And it was just a horrible experience overall. And then on top of that, I got to be really tired. But in the morning, I went to go take a shower and discovered that the shower was extremely short. The water never got very hot. And when I shut the water off, it just kept running for like a couple of minutes after I actually shut it off. So that was fun. And it drained real slow, and it was just super, like, just strange. Not enjoyable at all. And then, I didn't feel safe leaving any of my stuff there, so I had to take all my stuff in the car with my coworker and like leave it in the car all day while we're at this stuff. And that was fun, like, oh, I got to be paranoid about all this stuff. I had like a laptop and all that, and hoping nothing happens to it while I'm in here because I'm just paranoid. But then I get back, and it was pleasant. They changed my garbage while I was out and about, emptied out my trash can. So that was nice, but I was still paranoid. Like, gee, thanks for taking my garbage. Could you fix my lock or fill up this giant gap that anybody could reach their whole arm through? Because that'd be stellar. But no, none of that. That issue continued. Both of those issues continued. And then, as it went, that night, I still barely got any sleep, a little bit more than the first night. And I don't remember like worrying too much about the hotel room the second day because I took all my stuff with me and I was just like, yeah, whatever. If somebody busts in there, they bust in there. There's nothing there. And then there's nothing. They can have the nothing. I don't care. I'm not gonna fight for it. But I still barricaded the doors when I was in. The TV. I tried watching some TV each night, and it took me all 3 nights to figure out the television because the remote worked, but the buttons on the remote were apparently not labeled correctly because none of the buttons did what they were labeled for. So like you'd press like the input button would turn the volume up, and like the number 3 would change the channel up and down, or like 3 was up or down, and then one of the other numbers was the opposite. And yeah, that's super fun, and not at all frustrating or horrendous to deal with. But that third night, I did sleep like a baby, but not because I was comfortable, not because my room got cleaned, or the locks got fixed, or the screaming stopped, or the siren stopped, or the chop shop quit chopping, but because I was so tired from the previous 2 nights that I don't even think I could have stayed awake if I had been one of the meth heads that had screwed the the hotel place up in the first place. Like, no joke, I was afraid to look under the bed in this place. And I didn't. I made it a point not to because I was worried about what I might find, whether it be, drug paraphernalia or a severed limb or who knows what down there. So, I just never go back there, ever. So I wrote them a Google review, and on Google, you're allowed to use 5,000 characters in your review. I used 4,997 of them. And it took everything I had not to fill up the last 3 with exclamation points. But, needless to say, my observations still stand that if you're desperate and you need somewhere to stay, save yourself some money and go stay under the bridge by the freeway with the hobos. It'll be a lot more comfortable, a lot cleaner, a lot more safe, and there'll probably be less drug abuse. Be real. It was probably the most outrageous amount of drug abuse I'd ever heard or seen going on. I mean, there were people there who were definitely making deals like throughout the night, and anyone who's ever been around that stuff knows it's not like a good, comfortable feeling. You don't want to be around it. So, yeah, the Cabanna Inn. Don't go there. Hopefully my house that I'm building will be nicer than the Cabanna Inn. The place I'm staying at tonight is much nicer, and I'm hoping the walls are thick enough that my hotel room neighbors are not like hearing this and thinking, what is that idiot doing talking to himself? I'm not talking to myself. I'm talking to my 6 adoring fans on YouTube, okay? It's what I do. Not for a living, but it's what I do. I don't know how this is going to look. I like it so far, but, it'll probably look better when it's all put together. And I'll take a lot of fall damage jumping up and down to put these pillars up. Oh, yeah. Get some windows thrown in there. That's going to look awesome. Matter of fact. Ooh. Nah, that's fine. Screw it. I don't care. I don't give a heck about that. Yeah. I can work with that. Looks pretty good. Alright, let's call that a video because I don't want to get too out of hand. I'm sure I've probably already gone significantly longer than I expected that I would. So, today we fixed the footprint of my house so it looks a little bit nicer. We talked about my experience at the Cocaine Cabana. hopefully you guys thought that my horrible experience was at least a little bit funny. So, yeah, till next time. Bye.